one thing I want to focus on for right now is the MVP race. And this isn't something that we talk about very often, but I feel like it needs to be addressed because you and I have very differing views on how this is going to
Oh,
go.
yeah, because there's a bunch of idiots out there in the world that think that Patrick Mahomes is the end-all be-all of the NFL.
Patrick Mahomes is the leader of the MVP race, and he deservedly so.
No.
He is. It absolutely is. And this is where we're going to have a very lively debate, so please stay tuned. You can point to the fact that he threw 3 interceptions against the Miami Dolphins, and you can point to the fact that he has struggled against some top-tier opponents, but he's also setting records and becoming a top quarterback in this league, if not the best quarterback in this league. He is one of the greatest throwers of the football I have ever seen in my entire lifetime. And there is no scenario in which I see any other player winning the MVP award this year outside of Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes cannot win this award when you have Tyreek Hill, who is the best wide receiver in the NFL this year, and Travis Kelce, who is the best tight end in the league every year. There's no way you can be given this award when you are surrounded by elite talent, when you don't need to worry about who you're throwing the ball to. You can trust them. Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't make many mistakes, and he can put the ball wherever he wants, when he wants, and he can run out of any situation. He can do that. He is a magician. I'm not taking away the abilities of Patrick Mahomes. But when you're talking about the most valuable player, he is not it. Aaron Rodgers is a more valuable player than Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Patrick Mahomes could go into Green Bay and do exactly what Aaron Rodgers is doing right now. I don't think he'd be able to handle having no-name receivers and tight ends and not having any help around him. I don't think he could have the same success. Aaron Rodgers would have the same success if he was on Kansas City right now. Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback in the league. He's not the most valuable player. His job could be done. The Chiefs would have the same success without him if they had another above average quarterback.
Wow. You are vastly diminishing the value of Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm not saying that. I think that he is by far and away the best quarterback in the game today. He can do everything Aaron Rodgers can do, and then some. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, you can talk about all of the, the plays that he's made in his lifetime and everything about that. But the fact remains that Patrick Mahomes has just as many Super Bowls as Aaron Rodgers does at this point.
You can't look at it like that because we're talking about the most valuable player. We're talking about the 2 teams that are number 2 in their conference. But you've got to also look at the supporting cast. Patrick Mahomes has everybody you could want, pretty much, on a team. And Aaron Rodgers gets no love from anybody. He gets no help from anybody. He has Devontae Adams, and he has Aaron Jones, and that's it. He's got 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and he's told to go out there and win every single game. And he pretty much does that because he's able to dissect defenses. He's able to make terrible receivers look fantastic. He's able to pick up his defense who can't stop the run for their freaking life and just continue to score whenever he wants to. There is no other player in the NFL that is more valuable to their team than Aaron Rodgers. Patrick Mahomes' job could be done by Tua Tagovailoa or Justin Herbert or Carson Wentz even. I would even say that. Because
Patrick Mahomes has almost 1,000 more yards passing than Aaron Rodgers does.
Do you understand that? I don't care. Because he has the supporting cast. You put Aaron Rodgers on the Chiefs, and he's going to have almost 5,000 yards passing and 50 touchdowns. The MVP
Aaron Rodgers has more touchdowns and 1 less interception than Patrick Mahomes does.
The MVP race is not an apples to apples comparison. It is who is the most valuable player to their team.
If that's the case, then it's Derrick Henry. I mean, it is that simple.
You can make that argument. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is the only viable option. I'm just saying Patrick Mahomes is definitely not the most valuable player this season.
The only time that the Chiefs have ever been relevant in our lifetime outside of Patrick Mahomes was one season with Alex Smith pre-injury. Besides that, Patrick Mahomes is the only reason this Chiefs team is even relevant. Their defense is disgustingly terrible outside of Chris Jones. And then you have
You got to give that defense a lot more credit. They're better than you think.
I do not. No, I do not. They are fluffed up by the simple fact that every team has to come from behind because they have to try to match what Patrick Mahomes does on a daily basis. There is no other quarterback that is feared as much as Patrick Mahomes under center is. It's just that simple.
Patrick Mahomes is not somebody to be afraid of. Aaron Rodgers is somebody I'm more afraid of because he's faced adversity. What adversity has Patrick Mahomes faced this season? None of his players have gotten hurt.
You don't get a score for facing adversity. There's no adversity.
But it needs to be taken into account.
No, it doesn't, because there's no well, you know what? You've suffered a couple injuries on your team, so you should have done this. Nobody gives a shit. What did you do? Did you do it? No. Okay, then you don't deserve it. That's the end of it.
Could Patrick Mahomes' job be done without him? Absolutely.
No.
Could Aaron Rodgers' job be done without him? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yes, no. It could. Yes, it absolutely could. Patrick Mahomes is in a stronger division than Aaron Rodgers is.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, the Vikings are a very strong team. The Chargers are a terrible team. The Broncos are a terrible team, and the Raiders are a terrible team. There is nobody.
Just last week, the Raiders were a top team for your contention, and now all of a sudden
they were in the hunt. Yeah, until they decided to almost lose to the New York Jets. Patrick Mahomes has not done enough. He has not shown me why he is irreplaceable, why he is making Tyreek Hill better, why he is making Travis Kelce better. I think it's the other way around. I think that Tyreek Hill is making Patrick Mahomes better. I think Travis Kelce is making Patrick Mahomes better. Patrick Mahomes doesn't always make the best throws, but his receivers bail him out. He just dumps the ball off to Travis Kelce, who runs 30 yards up the field. He throws the ball, he dumps it off to Tyreek Hill.
So Aaron Rodgers doesn't dump off the ball to Devontae Adams and he runs through defenses. I mean, you can say the same exact thing. The fact remains that Patrick Mahomes is still leading him in key statistical categories, on top of the fact that, you know what, if you want to account for injuries, go ahead. The fact remains that the Chiefs don't get injured. They have to be given some credit for that. You can't take anything away from them because they haven't been injured. You know what? It's on the players to not get injured, and they haven't.
No, you can't just say that. Injuries are fluke. They are a variable that cannot be accounted for. You don't know if or when they'll happen.
Carson Wentz should have won that MVP then, because it's not his fault he got hurt, right?
No, that's not how this works.
Exactly. So
no, I'm not. We're not talking about. I'm not talking about a player who's been injured. I'm talking about a guy who has kept his team at the top of the conference with no weapons around him, very few weapons around him. Who's had multiple wide receivers get injured. He's been cycling through players and making them look like studs. He's had to account for a bad defense
all around him. They have Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They have Allen Lazard. They have Robert Tonyan. They have Devontae Adams. They have a.
How many of these people did you know before the season? How many of these people you knew? You knew maybe Allen Lazard. You definitely didn't know who Robert Tonyan was. I know that
who Marquez Valdez-Scantling is. I know who.
He's not a good receiver. He's not a good receiver. Aaron Rodgers makes him look like a decent receiver. He's not good. The most valuable player is the guy who can make his surrounding cast look better than they actually are. That's Aaron Rodgers. Tyreek Hill would be an elite athlete, elite player without Patrick Mahomes. So would Travis Kelce. So would Sammy Watkins. So would CEH.
That is a misstep of the highest order. You are undervaluing Patrick Mahomes. There's a reason he became the first player to sign a $500 million contract.
You're undervaluing how big of a role his supporting cast plays. If he doesn't have those weapons,
I'm not. But you can't take that away. Just because they have talented players doesn't mean you can take that away from his ability to do what he does.
That just shows that Patrick Mahomes is not everything.
He doesn't rely on them. He can do it without them.
He can't do it without them. He hasn't even.
Yes, he can.
How can you say that? We have not seen that. We have never seen him face adversity. This is what I talked about. He has not had to go without Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce for more than a couple games. I mean,
they have a much worse offensive line than the Packers do. They have a much worse running attack than the Packers do. I mean, if you want to really compare apples to
just because they choose not to throw to run the ball,
Aaron Rodgers has a better scenario than Patrick Mahomes does.
It's not true at all. Patrick Mahomes is in the best spot anybody in sports could be in. He has elite coaches and elite players surrounding him. All he has to do is make the correct reads, the correct throws, and that's it. Yeah, every so often he has some nice plays where he runs out of the pocket and makes some spectacular play with his feet or throws a great pass. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is doing that every single drive. Every single drive.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes Davante Adams will get a nice catch and then take it upfield.
No,
but that doesn't happen every single time.
More work than you're giving him credit for. You are undervaluing Davante Adams and you're overhyping Aaron Rodgers. The fact remains that there is no way you can tell me that Aaron Rodgers is worth more to his team than Patrick Mahomes. I refuse to buy that. Listen, you're like GameStop. I will not buy from you.
You live in your fantasy world where Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time, but the reality is he is not the most valuable player in 2020.
Didn't I just say that he wasn't, and I wasn't saying that? So clearly you are not listening to my argument. I rest my case. Your Honor, I win.
The fact that you're even going there shows that you have no solid argument to back up why Patrick Mahomes is the most valuable player of the 2020 NFL season.